In the second half of our 30-day China round trip, I show you our adventures in Beijing, visiting the Great Wall, going out with our Chinese friends, our very foggy sightseeing tour at the Shanghai skyline and around the French concession, our trip to Hangzhou around the beautiful West Lake, visiting a pagoda and some more temples, our long journey back to Guangzhou via night train, metro and some more trains, and crossing back to Hong Kong, and our last days exploring the city center of the busy Hong Kong, going up to the giant Buddha statue of Lintau Island, getting on the peak tram to see the night falling over Hong Kong, doing a night boat trip, and finally strolling along the waterfront on a sunny day in Hong Kong before we headed back home to Germany. So grab a cup of coffee or tea, get cozy, and let me tell and show you what happened. Hello scrapbookers and travelers, welcome to my channel Little Steffi Big Word, where I focus on travel scrapbooking. I show you album flip-throughs, process videos and scrapbooking supply hauls focusing on travel scrapbooking. If you like that kind of videos and want to see more, please subscribe and put on the notification bell. Today I want to give you a flip-through of the second China scrapbook. As always, there will be a quick music flip-through version of this on my channel as well. The link to that video is in the video description below this video, as well as a link to the first China scrapbook album. In this chatty version, however, I will not only show you this album and tell you about the trip itself, but also show you some of our video footage. There is a video compilation of our video footage on my channel, which I've also linked below. My then boyfriend and now husband Marcus and me went on a 30-day China round trip back in December 2015 to January 2016. I kept the cover of both scrapbooks in red, gold and brown with some stamping and a little self-made tag with twine and buttons and little word stickers and some other travel themed stickers. This picture of us two with our masks in front of the foggy Shanghai skyline and a little wood veneer here. So the cover is very similar to the one of the first scrapbook, except for this charm that says China, which I've added a few months ago when I made charms for my Northern Europe trip travel scrapbook album. So this one contains buttons, hearts, a tassel and other little charm elements. I have again, like in the first book, a quote that I printed off the internet that says, "Don't listen to what they say, go see." There are a lot of stories and maybe rumors about China out there, and we really wanted to see it for ourselves. I have another map here that I took out of an old atlas that shows the east coast of China with Beijing, Shanghai and Hong Kong down here, and I've put some cute panda stickers everywhere. On the 2nd of January 2016, day 16 of our 30-day trip, we went on a guided bus tour to the Great Wall. My Chinese friend Tricky had helped us book this tour as there wouldn't be a lot of public buses going there due to the bank holidays. Unfortunately, she had booked us a Chinese bus tour and we didn't understand a word of what the guy said on the bus, and we were the only foreigners. The roads leading up to Beijing were completely full and we arrived with about an hour delay at the Great Wall. These are our 2 tickets of the bus tour, and in behind I have 2 pictures of the Great Wall, and it was sure an amazing sight. Seriously amazing how they've built this massive wall in this carved landscape, and it looks like the wall is going on forever, endlessly, and there were loads of people. It was very full on the wall. Here I have 2 tickets to get on the wall, and my journaling is in behind that. We went as fast as we could up the wall. We wanted to make the most of the time we had there before we had to head back to the bus. We wanted to reach several of these guard stops and we managed to get up to the 4th. So even though it was very cold, like minus 10 degrees Celsius, we were very warm from all the running on the wall. We were so happy we made it there. We had fantastic weather as well, so of course we had to get a selfie taken there. I also took a picture of our feet on the wall. For this trip, both of us had bought new shoes, and I put the little tags of our shoe packaging in here as well. So here I have a little art card that I decorated on the back and my journaling behind. We got back to Beijing at 6:30 p.m. and bought a few more souvenirs before we met with my friend Twiggy and her mom at 10 p.m. They wanted to take us out for a little midnight snack, a popular Chinese barbecue. It was a great midnight snack with of course way more to eat than we could possibly manage and some beer. My friend finished on this evening for the first time in her life a full bottle of beer, and her mom managed to drink 1.5 bottles while we drank like 2 bottles each. They were so happy to be drinking beer with proper Germans. It was such a funny evening and we had a great talk. I'm so bummed we didn't take our proper camera with us to take pictures. They gave us some more tips on what to see in Shanghai and that we should change our plans and get to Hangzhou instead of staying in Shanghai for too long. And it was so convenient that we stayed in the same hotel, so it was easy the next mornings to see each other again in the hotel lobby. And as it is Chinese custom, they bought us a lot of breakfast so that we could eat on the train and said goodbye. I really do hope to meet them too again when this whole corona crisis is over and we can travel safely again. So in this corner pocket I've put one of the breakfast coupons from our hotel in Shanghai, and within the pocket I have our train tickets from Beijing to Shanghai. I have the business card from our hotel in Shanghai, some receipts, and my journaling on the hotel stationery pad, which I think looks pretty fancy. We got to our hotel at about 4 p.m. and after freshening up we walked around the city center and along the East Nanjing Road and towards the famous Bund to see the skyline at night. It was very full of people and quite smoggy, but you cannot miss the lit up skyline. On this page I have a very large map of Shanghai, and in behind are pictures of the skyline at daylight. Well, in all the smoke. And it doesn't look as spectacular, and it also isn't that full during the day. After that we went into the French concession, which is a touristy part of Shanghai with nicely decorated houses. And within that area we went into the city god temple. These are our 2 tickets which hide my journaling. We took some pictures and videos inside the temple and also from the French concession. For lunch we went to a big market hall kind of thing and tried various snacks and fruit juices and just had a proper look around, and it was pretty cheap as well. This is just another map from Shanghai that I've put in here. After lunch we headed for the Shanghai Museum. So here is the floor map of the museum. It is very big and there's a lot to see in this museum, and it is pretty cheap to go in either. Here's one picture of the impressive entry hall, and I have another picture here of some old China coins. Well, after visiting the Shanghai Museum in the evening, we met some colleagues of my husband at the hotel. They are really nice and invited us to a big dinner, which was absolutely great. Luckily, they both speak pretty good English, and so we had a very good conversation over dinner about China and Germany, traveling and food. So because the food was so good, I've put the business card of the restaurant down here in case we ever go back, I don't know. On Tuesday, the 5th of January of 2016, our 19th day in China, we didn't do a lot in Shanghai except for walking and looking at different shops. And we had dinner near the city god temple in the French concession again. In the evening we went to the Bund again because it was less smoggy and the lights were even brighter. So it just looks really nice at night. As my friend Twiggy had suggested, we've cut our stay in Shanghai short and took the train to Hangzhou instead, which is just about an hour away. So here are the train tickets, and after checking into our hotel, we walked around the city center. So this is a Buddha statue in the middle of the pedestrian zone of the city, and this is one of many walks around West Lake. And West Lake is a really beautiful big lake. So on this side I have the key card holder of the Ibis hotel that we stayed in with the business card inside. And in this pocket I have a receipt, and I have another envelope with some more receipts in there, and I have a leaflet of the metro system of Hangzhou, which we used a lot. At night the temples on the hills surrounding the lake are lit up as well, and it looks very impressive in reality. Now we are on to the last 10 days of this 30-day trip, and I used another art card from our hotel from Chengdu and put my journaling in behind here. The West Lake is divided into several parts according to the direction they are in. So first we went to the southern part of West Lake and had lunch in a food court, and then we walked up to the Leifeng Pagoda. These are our 2 tickets to get onto the Leifeng Pagoda and go up the tower, and from up there we had a very foggy view over the lake. I imagine it to look very majestic in good weather. We also had a look around the inner parts of the pagoda before we walked to the northern part and over the second dam back to the eastern part. That's a lot of walking. That's like 3 hours of walking. So we took the metro back to our hotel. In the evening, we wanted to get to this place for some hot pot. The day before, we got this as a flyer on the street from a very smiley Chinese guy, and it took us over an hour and asking 5 different people who all didn't speak proper English to find this place. In the end, we had a massive, delicious hot pot dinner, which was even hotter and spicier than the one we had in Chengdu, in the Sichuan region, where the hot pot is originally from. Well, during the night we did have some stomach issues due to the spicy food, and so we didn't leave our room until noon the next day to get some lunch. For the rest of the day we stayed at the Hubin Park, watched the boats come in and go, and also watched some squirrels. They got fed by the tourists, but we didn't feed them. Yeah, we had some snacks here and there in 2 different Man cafes. So I've put the 2 different business cards in here in this little self-made pocket. So on this page here I have a picture of our lunch from a food market, and this picture is from the Wushanlu night market. You get a lot of delicious snacks and a lot of fake products at this market, but we didn't buy any of the fake products, but we did try some of the snacks, which were pretty good to my surprise. While eating our snacks, we sat at some long tables, and another Chinese guy with very good English got us into a little conversation and said that this is not the best season to visit the lake, and that we should come back in spring or summer when everything is in full bloom to enjoy the whole beauty of Hangzhou, and I believe it. On day 23 of our journey, we checked out of our hotel but left our bags there. We wanted to take one of these luxury boats for a trip to an island in the southern part of the West Lake. It was a very nice boat trip, and we really enjoyed the time on board. On the island itself, we just had a look around the little temple and the landscapes there before we took a boat back. And this is actually the boat that we went on, so it looks very similar to the ones on the tickets. So on here I have some pictures of the island and of the water surrounding the island, with some birds in there and the landscape. In the afternoon we visited the Jingxi temple. We didn't plan to visit it, we just passed it and thought, well, let's have a look. So we got ourselves the entrance tickets and had a look around the courtyard. And then we were able to witness a ceremony of some monks. So this one monk in the back is a little bit older than the other ones, and so he didn't bend down or went onto his knees too much. So in the evening we took the night train. So this is a picture of us in the night train on our way from Hangzhou to Guangzhou in the soft sleeper compartment. So this is a little envelope that holds some ATM receipts as well as a business card of a Starbucks. Before we went on the train, we made some calculations while sitting in the Starbucks about the last remaining Chinese currencies we had and how much more we would need before we transferred back to Hong Kong, where we would need another currency. I have our train tickets here, and we boarded at 9 p.m. in Hangzhou and arrived in Guangzhou at 7 a.m. the next morning. And even despite the name Soft Sleeper and all the beer we drank, we were not really able to sleep a lot on the train. It was a lot of changing trains, metros and trains again, and this is a note that we received that we are now leaving mainland China, and for re-entering we would need a new China visa. So in this pocket I have our train tickets as well as our new Hong Kong visas and some receipts. We stayed in the Silka Hotel. And in this corner pocket I have the business card, the key card holder, and a luggage tag and some receipts from the food that we bought. The hotel is very close to the Olympian City shopping center, and there's a very big and good food court in there. We had some dim sum and soup and different veggies. Hong Kong is a bit more expensive than China, but still okay price-wise. I did my journaling on the stationery pad of the hotel again. I think this is pretty handy if you ask me. Here I have a big pocket again where I put in two big maps from Hong Kong that I picked up from a tourist information center. On the back I used the other side of the clip for holding some more receipts. As soon as they are completely faded away, I'm going to throw this out. So on the 25th day of our trip, we walked around the central city of Hong Kong and of course took a selfie at the waterfront. We visited some more shops and then we went to take the peak tram up to the hill. We had a very nice view over Hong Kong on the way up. At the top we first took the peak trail to get even higher. It was very steep but also very quiet with less people around. We wanted to be on the sky terrace when the night falls so we could see the city lights go on while the sun goes down. So here are a few pictures of the city during the day and then here at night. We only had a one-way ticket from the tram to save some money. We thought to ourselves, well, going down should be pretty easy. Well, the way down wasn't lighted very well and it took us a while to get our orientation back when we were back at the bottom. The next day we headed to the giant Buddha of Lintau Island on the Nong Ping platform. And this giant Buddha up on a very picturesque hill is a very famous tourist attraction. We didn't take a guide or tour to get there, instead we took the metro and the local buses. You can also get there with the cable car I think, but the queue was very long and it was also very expensive. I have an envelope here. And in this envelope I have some ATM receipts and food receipts and also my journaling of that day and how we got there. I really like the surrounding of the Buddha on top of the hills and all the trees around it and the little statues and everything. I would totally recommend going there if you have the time. We did some souvenir shopping up there as well before we got back into the city center of Hong Kong. We decided to take a night boat trip, and it was one of the best decisions we made. I really enjoyed this boat trip along the lit up skyline. Unfortunately, the camera doesn't give you a good impression of how beautiful it looks. I really enjoyed this 1 hour trip. In this little pocket here, I have some more receipts as usual and my journaling of the 27th day of our trip. And behind is a picture of my husband against the skyline of Hong Kong, and the sun finally came out, the fog lifted, it was pretty warm, so we took off our jackets and just wandered along the waterfront for over an hour. After lunch we took the Star Ferry across the river to Wan Chai and visited the Golden Bohemia. It is the place where the handover of Hong Kong from the Brits to China took place. In the mornings there is a flag hissing that you can see. The next day, on Thursday, the 14th of January, we packed our bags. This is my husband with his panda hat in our room. And we left our backpacks, our luggage in the luggage room of our hotel while we just walked around the neighborhood and had lunch in the food court of the nearby shopping center. And then it was off to the airport with the airport bus. We flew from Hong Kong to Beijing and had a lot of security checks in the middle of the night to change terminals before we could fly further on to Frankfurt in Germany. We arrived over 24 hours later, so this is the last picture we took at the train station in Frankfurt Airport. And in this pocket here are our flight tickets with the security stamps on them from Beijing, and I have the train tickets to get back to our home in Stuttgart. It was an amazing trip and we learned so much about China, about traveling on the next level with a lot of language barriers, and I've collected so many travel memorabilia that I made another pocket in the back here. And I glued in various business cards from the different accommodations everywhere. And I've also got some more stationery pads from the accommodations. I have a leaflet here. I have the Christmas card that we got from our hotel in Chengdu. There's some more Chinese coins that I just put in here for the different signs. And for the inner back cover, I chose a quote that fits this long chatty flip through very much. Traveling. It leaves you speechless and then turns you into a storyteller. I could have told you so many more details and little stories about our trip, but that would really make this too long. But travel scrapbooking is so important to keep these memories of our intense trips alive. I really want to encourage you with my flip throughs to collect more memorabilia, to take even more pictures from your journey, and to preserve your memories in whatever way. I hope you enjoyed this flip through of the second China scrapbook. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel and put on the notification bell so you won't miss any more flip throughs of travel scrapbook albums, travel scrapbooking process videos and hauls in the future. Also, leave a comment below which part you like the most about this. You all stay safe and scrapbook on. Take care and bye bye.